Hello all my friends out there, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever else I'm reaching. This is a Christmas edition of What's New. It's probably going to be What's New in January, but in reality it's mid-December, just before Christmas, and it's just sort of my last day in the office today. So I thought I would just do a quick roundup of a few things I've just picked up, which just happen to be the best examples that I've got in their genre. I'm joined today by my able youngest son, 12-year-old Pierce, who's helping me out, filming me. He's often in charge of my YouTube account, so he tells me every day I get one new subscriber. So I'm not going to get wealthy on my YouTube channel, but anyway, thank you for watching. Okay, right, I have a quick sip of my coffee, as I have to do to get the juices flowing. Right, straight up, let's do a violin. I've got this fantastic violin here, you can just see. It's Joseph and Antonio Gagliano, made in Naples, 1790. They were the sons of Niccolo, the great Niccolo Gagliano, and they worked together, they worked separately. Their work together is not as expensive as Joseph's by himself, but it's more expensive than Antonio's by himself. So Antonio needed Joseph, Joseph didn't need Antonio, if you get my drift. But this one is a really fine example. It just captures everything about Naples that I love, and as I've mentioned many times about the Gagliano family, the great thing about the Naples makers, they're like a margherita pizza. You don't mix with the ingredients. You make it the way it has to be made in Naples. Same with the violins. They knew Strad was around. They knew Guarneri was around. Did they care? No, they didn't. They didn't want to do what the Cremonese makers were doing. No, they struck their own little path and they stuck with it. So this is a violin, yep, 1790, very nice, one piece back, in very nice condition, sounds fantastic. I'll give it a quick play. Let's go on to this one. I should never check that. So it really rings, doesn't it? Nice G string, bright E, that's the way I like them. Okay, we're talking about violins, let's talk about a new violin. And why not a young maker in Cremona, Akop Azoyan. I bumped into him 5 or 6, 7 years ago and was immediately impressed with his work, and it's just getting better all the time. And this is his latest 2023 Guarneri copy of the Baltic del Gesù. So it's I think it's a late del Gesù. I haven't looked it up myself. Maybe not so late actually, because the scroll's quite normal. If anyone knows del Gesù, know the scrolls start off being very Strad-like, and then they become his own personality. But this is a beautiful example of Azoyan's work, and he's a very talented maker, and I hope I sell his work for as long as I can. And actually it's nice just to have these things in the shop. So I know some makers get worried that you've still got my violin you bought from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I don't care. I like to have nice violins in the shop. I like to see nice things. So that's why I try and get rid of all the stuff I used to like, and things change, as we all know. And so this violin is very beautiful. And I have a Stradivari copy of his as well from this year, which is also equally beautiful. Okay, so that's his. I better play a few notes as well. I should have put some rosin on. As I said, very even, and he only made that a couple of months ago, so it really is hot off the press. But the back, wow, it's a beautiful one-piece back, and you can see that on my website, bishopstrings.com. Really nice one. Okay, on to my viola of the month. Viola. This is actually more than viola of the month. This, for me, is just one of the greatest violas I have ever played. It's labelled Vincenzo Panormo, and probably was seen as a Vincenzo Panormo for a long time, but actually it's made by his son George Panormo, circa 1830 London, and it's probably a copy of the Spanish court, as it's known, viola. That particular viola by Stradivari was in London from I think about 1815 to the end of the century, and so he would have obviously seen that instrument and he's modelled it. So it's completely a Stradivari outline, as you can see there. Perfect size, 41.2 centimetre back. and with the cello peg box, but set back slightly so you don't really notice it. But this viola is very famous. A previous owner, oh goodness me, I should have looked this up, an English violist, it's really escaped me. Maybe it'll be on, I'll write it down under the heading of this so you can look it up, okay? But the great thing is this viola is pictured in a recording that the violist did with Yehudi Menuhin, and the cellist was Gassado. So really fantastic recording, and you can make out the viola in the front of the album cover. I just got this viola a couple of weeks ago, and it is a viola that I was thinking, you know what, I should keep it myself. I could just play on this at home whenever I want to. But then I quickly snapped out of it. I thought, hang on a minute, it's your job. You're a dealer, you're not a player anymore. So this is truly just what I'm trying to get to is that this is just one of the greatest violas, full stop, that I've had. And the sound, I think, is just magnificent. So have a listen, see what you think. We've done nothing to it since I got it, only like the same strings set up. But wow, what a viola. Have a listen. Enough when I'm playing on a desk. But wow, what a viola. That is very special. And I tell you what, it's not cheap. It's over £100,000. It's under £200,000. So in reality, this is cheaper than a Poggi. Okay, only slightly more expensive than a Capacchione. So we're talking about instruments made in the 21st century. Is it right? 20th century, sorry. And you're going to get a 19th century English viola that's as good as anything coming out of Italy at the time. Okay, so come and have a go over this. I do have someone lined up to try it, but you know, violas are all different, and it really is. It's a wow instrument. I love this viola. Okay, bows. I just grabbed some bows. I was trying to find one I had. 2 tubs bows. How about that? So I've got a lovely violin bow. That was actually part of the Rosenberg collection. I couldn't resist because it's in sort of mint condition. So good old Norman Rosenberg was a friend of mine, used to visit my shop regularly, and I'd visit his house and things like that. Lucky Ingalls and Heyday got all the stuff to sell, but I enjoyed my time with Norman, and he was always good fun. And this is a violin bow of his. And then I have the same in viola, with probably the original whalebone lapping, both stamped JAS tubs, J-A-S tubs, which tells us was made in about 1880, early 1890s, okay, with the single pearl eye, okay, and a single silver cap button. And they are really great bows. The viola bows in particular have something special. Half the price of a Sartre. I know I keep going on about this all the time, but you can buy a Tubbs bow, 19th century bow, half the price of a Sartre made in 1940. Okay, so it's a no-brainer. And the sound is, wow, they get colours. So there we have it. 2 Tubbs bows, Joseph and Antonio Gagliano, brand new violin by Akop Azoyan, and a phenomenal George Panormo viola of London, 1830. And that brings a close to December, my what's new, my Christmas special, whatever we want to call it. I wish everyone all the best and hope to see you in 2024. Bye-bye.